Hello everyone, welcome to the demo session on generative AI. My name is Sitaram. I'll be conducting the demo session for today. I'm not sure whether you have attended my previous demos, but this will be a little repeat of what we did in the past demos. Uh, we will be learning about how do we invoke a local LLM models, and this will be hands-on demo. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat window, and then I'll be able to look at the questions and answer them as and when they are necessary. What will we do today is we'll quickly spend 1 hour understanding about the local LLMs. I'll be talking about a library called as Ollama. We will be understanding how do you use Ollama for invoking smaller LLM models. And then I'll also be showing you how to create a code-based LLM invocation and then create a little UI for doing the chatting with the local LLM. All right, without further ado, let me quickly start. First things first, what I have to do is I have to go to a library in your favorite Google or Chrome or Safari, type Ollama, say ollama.com. When you say ollama.com, you will be able to launch this website. It's called as ollama.com. And then you will see a couple of options. We'll have an option to download the library. This is a library which will help us to work with open source LLM models, free open source LLM models. You will be able to run with it. So once you download the library, here it will show you by default, I'm on Windows. So it is directly showing me download for Windows. If you're on Mac, it will point it to Mac OS. You have to download the library for Windows. And once you download, what you'll be able to do is you can install this library on your machine. If you're on Windows, you have to follow a typical installation widget. It will ask you a few basic details, and then you will be able to install that on your machine. If you're on Mac, you just have to drag and drop in your applications folder, and that will install Ollama on your machine. Once it is installed, the way to verify whether the Ollama is installed or not is if you're on Windows, on the right side, you will see a small little icon. This is the Llama icon. You'll see a small little icon on the right side of your Windows. It's in the notification widget. You'll be able to see a small little icon like this. That is a Llama icon, which says that the Ollama is running on your machine. If you're on Mac, it will be on the top right corner. If you see, there will be a small little Llama icon on the top right corner, which says that the Ollama is running on your machine. Another way to check whether Ollama is running or not is you open your command line prompt or terminal, and then you say Ollama. When you say Ollama, it will launch like this. You will see the library instance number, and then you have all these options. Chat with a model. It will show a default model, which is available on my local. And then it will show other options. You can chat with Claude Code, Codex, Pumice, Agent, OpenClaw, and other ones. If you're seeing all this message, then that means that your Ollama is installed. You can directly use it. Once it is there, then I will also show some other options. Ollama hosts a lot of models. It is not only hosting the open source models, it is also hosting some bigger models on its cloud. So that is the reason there is some pricing available. So if I click on the pricing, it will have 3 tiers of pricing. One is the free tier, second one is a pro tier, and the third one is the max tier. Free tier, you could use local models. You can run those models on your hardware. If your laptop is having a decent hardware, you will be able to run a couple of models. There are some models which are very heavy RAM intensive. You will not be able to run on your laptops. You might need a data center for running it, a private hosted on-prem environment. You can use the APIs of Ollama and then invoke their cloud models. But when you're using the free instance, a limited availability is there. There is a token limitation. You only be able to do a limited model availability. You can go with Pro or Max subscription. Pro means you have to pay $20 per month, and then Max means you have to pay $100 per month. And then you will be able to use much bigger models, and all the cloud models are accessible via API. Now you don't have to spend $20 or $100. I will talk about the free version itself. I'll show you how do you use this free version without without spending any money. So this is about the pricing. Now let us see what are the models available. If I click on the models tab, you will see these lot of models are there. You could see the GLM 5.2 model, Minimax M3 model, Kimi-K 2.7, and likewise Nemotron models are there, Gemma models are there. All these different models are available. Let me show you the first one. This is the best latest model released a week back. It is beating all the flagship models, the OpenAI flagship models, the Claude flagship models. All those models are beaten by this open source model, GLM 2.5. Now, if I look at the model configurations, it's a very high usage model. It is having a context window of 976K parameters. So 976K tokens. So the context window is so big. And the size of the model is 756 billion parameters. So many billion parameters are learned for creating this model. Now I will talk about what is this context window and the parameters in a little while. But for now, just remember these numbers. 756 billion parameters are used. 976K context size is there. So such a big model. You will never be able to run this model on your laptop. You have to do a cloud invocation itself. So the cloud invocation for free models, it will be free for few invocations. But beyond that, you will not be able to run it. You have to either take a pro version or a max version. Now this is about cloud models. I'll go back. We will see some of the free versions. If I can scroll down, there is this Gemma 4 model. I click on this. Gemma is the Google's open source version of model. So this is a Google open source model. It's a frontier level performance. This means that state of the art performance is there. And this is a Google suite of model. How do I run it? I say Ollama run and the name of the model. It will run that model on my machine. There are other options of running it via some of the applications, Claude Code, Codex, OpenClaw, and other ones. We will cover them in detail in the course, but for now, I'll just show you what are these models and how I can run it via command line. All right, if you see, these are the different models are there. I see Gemma 4, latest model, Gemma 4, E2B. If I look at the E2B model, it is 7.2 GB of size. The context window is 128K. If you remember the previous model, the context window is 976K, much bigger than this one. And the number of parameters are also more in that. So 7.2 GB of the space is required. Now, what is the space? It requires physical space on your disk, 7.2 GB, which is okay. But it also requires 7.2 GB on your RAM. That means if you have an 8 GB RAM machine, you will never be able to run this model. If you have a 16 GB RAM machine, maybe you will be able to run. But for 8 GB RAM machine, you will not be able to run this model. If I look at even bigger models, there is 9.6 GB model. There is 26 billion parameter, which is 18 GB. And then 31 billion parameters, which is 20 GB. So what we are seeing here is there are bigger models with bigger parameters, and the size of the models is like 20 GB. So 20 GB means you will only be able to run, if at all you have a 32 gig machine. And at least you need a 32 gig machine, then you will be able to comfortably run this model, because you need the model to be loaded on your memory, and also you need other applications to run. So your memory will also consume other applications. Now, the context window of these models is 256K, and they are capable of doing both text and image processing. Now these are free models, so I can comfortably run. So I have a 16 GB machine, so I will be able to comfortably run this model, 7.2 GB model. Maybe I can run 9.6 GB model also. But I don't want to spend so much memory space, so I will go for a little lighter model. So this is Gemma 4, which is the Google's latest version of model. There is a one level down, which is Gemma 3. I'll say Gemma 3. This is the one. Gemma 3 is one level down or older model. If you see, it's older, 6 months old. And if I look at the models, the sizes of the models, it is having a 270 million parameters, 1 billion parameters, 4 billion parameters, 12 billion parameters, and so on. And if you look at the sizes of these models, there's only 292 MB, smaller one, 815 MB. This is a comfortable model. Gemma 3 colon 1 billion parameter is a 815 megabytes model. And the context window is smaller. The smaller context window, 32K, but the size is 815 megabytes. So even if you have a 8 GB machine, you will be able to comfortably run. Even if you have a 4 GB machine, you will be able to run comfortably on this particular model. Nowadays, 4 GB, I don't think anybody is having 4 GB machines. Those are older ones. You have decent 8 GB, 12 GB, 16 GB machines. So you will be able to comfortably run this model, Gemma 3, 1 billion parameter without any problem. And what is this model capable of? It is capable of running text-based invocations. Now, if I go for a bigger one, which is a 4 billion parameter, which will cost me 3.3 GB, which is also decent enough. It is a 128 kilobyte context, and it will be able to run text and images. So far, so good. Are you guys following me? So we are looking at different models. I looked at the GLM 2.5, so 5.2, and the Gemma 4 model and Gemma 3 model. These models will be used for invoking some of your local LLMs. So I have already downloaded the Gemma 3 model. If you have to download, you have to say Gemma Ollama run and give the model name. The model name is Gemma 3 colon 1B. That is the model name you have to provide, and that will invoke your LLM on your backend. Let me see how to invoke that. I have a command line open. Here there are multiple options. Start chat with a model. It is already launching the Gemma 3 colon 1 billion. So once I say enter, what it will do is it will invoke my Gemma 3 model, and it is able to take the message. So here you see it is saying send a message. Now I can send a message to it. I can say, who are you? So it is asking question to it that who are you? They aren't really who I am. I am in the sense of real person. I am a large language model created by the Gemma team. So it's telling that it is a large language model created by Gemma team, and it is designed to talk about some of the models. Right? So that is about the large language model. So I can ask other questions also. What all things you can do. I'm just asking what all things you can do. It is responding That's a great question. Let's talk abilities. It is able to do text generation and creation, understand language and other things. Can you write code? I'm asking it. Can you write code? Yes, absolutely. I can help writing code in several languages, but basic example is this. So it is writing a Python code, hello world in Python. So I'll ask like, can you write a program in Python for adding two numbers? So I'm asking it to write a Python code to add two numbers. Here you go. It is creating it. Create the above code like a function. So as you see, it's creating like a function and it is able to do a lot of things. If you want make this function more robust, yeah, make it more robust. So you see, so the basically I'm trying to talk to this LLM and it is able to invoke these functions and it is able to write code. Now let me open. Generally, my sessions I'll use using this kind of a notebook kind of an environment. Mostly, we will not be doing a lot of presentations, but we'll be doing sessions like these. So here, let us understand what is happening. Imagine you are interacting with ChatGPT. Okay? You're interacting with a ChatGPT. You're asking question. Question is like, what is LLM? Something like this, right? When you ask this question, what happens is in the ChatGPT is an application which invokes a LLM in the backend. Now, this LLM is the OpenAI GPT 5.2. That is the LLM. It uses this LLM for answering your question. And then question goes to the application. Application invokes the LLM and LLM returns the answer and the answer is responded back to the person. Now here in the open models, the open model which we saw is the Gamma 1 billion model, which is having, so if I look at the parameters, so parameters are 1 billion and the context is 32K. Correct? These are the things we have seen. Instead of using the OpenAI, we are now talking to the Gamma model, which is a local model. I'll be using the Gamma model, which is having a 1 billion parameters and a context of 32K. Now, let us understand about what are the parameters and what is the context. If I show you the model, if you look at the parameters is 12 billion parameters and the context is 128K. So if I look at the 1 billion parameter, 1 billion parameters and 32K, these are the details. Now, let us understand what are these parameters and the context, right? So if you see the way the model works is, the model is trained on deep learning algorithms called as neural networks. You will have multiple neurons like this. When the training happens, multiple neurons are like this, and they're all connected. We'll go through this in detail while we go through the course, but for now, just imagine that there is some algorithm which is connected like this. This is a deep learning algorithm. And what it will do is when we do a training is nothing but passing your information in terms of text, images, videos, all those details will be passed to the algorithm. And as a part of the training, we will learn these parameters. So these are something called as weights, or we will also call them as parameters. So we will learn these parameters, and combining all these parameters, it will be 1 billion. 1 billion is not small, guys. It's a very, very large set of parameters for the algorithm. If 1 billion is very large, then what about if you go back the models, right? If you go look at the GLM 5.2 model, this is 756 billion. Are you looking at it? The frontier models, which are the closed source models, which are OpenAI models or Anthropic Claude, Opus, Claude Sonnet, they have billions of parameters. Okay. So if you see, this is 756 billion parameters model. This is a powerful model. And that means that so many parameters are learned. Means it is capable of doing a lot of things. It can write code, tell poems, it can do summarization, texting, question answering system. A lot of those things can be done. Now that is about the billion parameters, which is the parameter part. Now what is context? Context is nothing but when you are talking to the LLM, you pass information to the LLM. So it's something like how much information you can pass to the LLM. If the context is 32K, that means that 32,000 tokens you can pass. 32,000 tokens can be passed as an input to the LLM. These are 32,000 tokens maximum for which this model. But if I look at the flagship GLM 5.2 model, we have 976K. 976,000 tokens. 976,000 tokens can be passed. Now, why context matters is the amount of information you are passing to the LLM provides an insight on how well this LLM can interact. More information is passed, it will get more context so that it can respond in a much better manner. So 32K is again smaller context, but it is not very, very small also. It is decent enough for doing all good default operations. All right. So what we learned now is we understood about the Ollama as a package. We will download it and then execute it. And for executing, I just executed it and I saw that I am able to write some simple codes. And we also saw some other models which will not be able to run it in the local. We only have to invoke via cloud. But for cloud, you will have some restrictions of the number of times you use. You can't programmatically use continuously. We maybe do once or twice, it is okay. But when you want to programmatically use, then you have to take the subscription, which is either a pro or a max version. So far, so good. Can I get a response? Are you guys following? So we spent like 30 minutes now. It's on my clock. It's showing 8:30. So it's 30 minutes. And then what we did is we understood the local models and able to understand and execute the code. Now let me switch gears. What I'll do is I'll show you how to run this code using program. Okay, programmatically, I would like to invoke this code. So let me open a code. So I have a program which is called as basic Ollama IPython notebook. IPython notebook is nothing but it's a Jupyter backed notebook which will help me to run some commands. So this is a Python code. Don't get overwhelmed if you do not know Python. We will learn them through the course, and how to write Python for AI and all those things will be learned during the course. But this is how it works. So IPython.display import markdown and display. So this is what we will show you for showing your markdown output. So we'll be using the IPython display library. Three libraries we are using. One is the display library for displaying your output. Second one is the Ollama library for connecting to Ollama and invoking the LLMs. And the third one we will be using is the Gradio library, which is nothing but the UI library for creating a little chatbot-like interface. Once I run this, it basically connects to the Python in the backend and install all the packages. So Ollama, Gradio, and the IPython. The models, I have a lot of models locally available. The one which I will be using is the same one which we invoked, the Gemma 3:1 billion. I will initialize the model name. And then what I'll do, let me run this quickly and I'll explain what is it doing. So when you're talking to the LLM, just a second. So when you're talking to the LLM, you need to provide some prompts. Now, prompts are nothing but the questions which you send it to the LLM. When you're talking to the ChatGPT, you will default provide a user prompt. So if you are asking that I wish to travel to USA, create a nice travel plan for a duration of 2 weeks, that means that you are sending a question to the application. That is the user prompt. But apart from the user prompt, when you're talking to the LLM programmatically, you also need to send something called as system prompt. System prompt tells that what is the context of the conversation, what are the rules of the conversation, how should the LLM respond, if there is any input and output formatting it needs to provide, then you need to set all the guidelines in the system prompt. So this is kind of a giving a heads up of how the model should perform. Two prompts will be sending, system prompt and the user prompt. System prompt will set you the instructions and the guidelines, and the user prompt is the general question. So we have set these both of them. And then the way you invoke the LLM is using the Ollama's chat function. You can say ollama.chat. You can provide two parameters. One is the model parameter, which is the model which we are using is the Gemma 3:1 billion parameter. And the messages will have a standard formatting. This is called as an OpenAI standard formatting. This is OpenAI standard formatting. And if you see, the role is system and the content is system prompt. Role is user and the content is user prompt. You will feed all this information and this information will be provided to the LLM. Once the LLM responds, the output is coming in the response output, and response will have something called as message. Within that, we have something called as content. That is where your output stays. When you say markdown of that, then it responds the information in a markdown format. Markdown is a format which is nicely formatted in bullet points and subheadings and all that stuff. So if you see, I already executed this. This is how it shows. Now, it says that it is creating a nice plan. It's a draft 2-week itinerary. First, it is taking to Denver, Grand Prairie, and then taking to Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, then Tulsa, Hot Springs, St. Louis, Nashville, and then this is what it is showing. And alternatives, it can also go to Washington, D.C., New Orleans. So this is what it is providing. So this is a perfect road trip. That's what it recommends. Now you can change the prompt also. You can say that, can you include New York? Can you include New Jersey? Can you include Florida? or maybe Las Vegas. So you can provide those. Here, for example, it did not include New York City. So I would like to visit New York City. I would like to go to maybe Las Vegas. So I'd like to see how it is planning that trip accordingly. So you can provide the prompt in such a way that it can include those things. But for a first cut call, it looks like a decent output. And as you see, these are bullet points. These are bullet points and subheadings. All this is the Markdown script, right? So this is a Markdown script format. So far, so good. Can I get a yes in the chat window, guys? Are you guys following? All right. So let us take one step further. What we will do is we will create a little UI. So for that, I'll create a small function called as a shout function. Now, what this function will do is it is basically um, if you give us text, it will convert into capital letters. That's what this is doing. Shout function is basically converting a small case to a uppercase. That's what it is doing. And why I am creating this function is I will like to create a UI. So for example, I am giving small hello. It is converted into capital hello. So this is the function. So what I want to do is I will use the library called as Gradio for creating a small little UI. When I say Gradio.interface and I say fn, which is the function name, what function I'm using? The shout function. And this function will have one input and one output. Input you will pass in the text box. Whatever the output which comes from the shout function will be displayed in the output text box. So there is an input and then output, which is connected with the function shout. And when I do a dot launch, interface dot launch, it will launch a little UI. So I click this localhost 7860. I click on this. It will launch me a UI. Here you see, here it launches the UI. And then I say wonderful. And then submit. That wonderful will be converted into capital wonderful. As you see, this is calling a shout function in the backend. This is the input. This is output. When I pass some word, it converts into capital letters. Right? That is what it is doing. But there is no fun in converting small characters to capital characters or small letters to capital letters. Let us now create a function which can create like an LLM. So I'll go down. What I'll do is I'll create something called as message GPT. Now, what is this message GPT? It is the same Ollama chat function which we have executed at the top. The same Ollama chat function, but now wrapped within a function called as message underscore GPT. Message underscore GPT will have an input and it will respond with one output. The same thing, but instead of the input is not the small characters, it is a prompt. Whatever prompt you give, that will go into the user prompt. It is a question you are asking. So that question will go into the prompt and that goes to the user prompt. And let me execute this. And then I will expand this Gradio.interface. The function will be not the shout function, but it is the message GPT function. Input outputs also I have expanded a little bit. So 6 lines for the input. So it will look like a bigger box and 8 lines for the output. So we'll have a text box with a bigger look and feel, 6 lines for input and 8 lines for output. So once you run it, it launches at 7861, a different link. I click on that and it opens. Here you see this is the input box and here you are seeing the output box. Now I can ask questions like, what is an LLM? Okay, I'm asking what is an LLM. On the right side, it will take few seconds. So if you see the processing time, it takes like 10 to 15 seconds for responding. It's taking 10, 11 seconds. Okay. Took like 14 seconds and it responded. Hi there. Let's talk about large language models. We often shorten it to LLMs. And it gives me the large language models. These asterisks and the stars, whatever you're seeing, these are all our markdown format. Right? So these are markdown format. Typically, this will be subheading, bold subheading. This is a subheading, and these are bullet points. So this will be like that. But in our code, we have not given markdown. We have given a Gradio.text box as an output, which is like a normal text box. If I would have given a markdown output, then it will show in a nice markdown format. Okay, are you guys following? So here we are writing any question and I am invoking my LLM in the backend, the Gemma LLM, Gemma 3 1 billion parameter model, and it is responding with a nice output. So one thing we saw is that it is taking around 15 seconds for responding. And then this format is also not marked down. It's a text format and that's the reason it is showing me this information. So what I'll do is I'll change the format and I change the type of response also. So I want more like a ChatGPT like experience where I type a question and instantaneously the answer should pop up, right? As if like it is writing in the real time. So for doing that, I can go and change my code. Let me go down. So what I'll do is I'll prepare something called as Stream GPT. What is a Stream GPT? Stream GPT is nothing but you will respond in a streaming fashion. So the same Ollama chat function, but with small changes. You will add one line called as stream is equals to true. What will the stream is equals to true will do? It will create the output in a streaming fashion. Streaming means in real time you will be getting the answer. I'll show you an example, but for that we need to make stream is equals to true. One line change. And when the streaming is true, the output is no longer coming as a one final answer. It will come in chunks, small chunks. So the result will be in chunks. So I have to iterate through the chunks. I have to loop through the chunk. And whenever the chunk comes, I have to add that to the response and then yield it. Yielding means as and when you're getting the information, you are pushing that to the output. That's what you're doing. So you have to write this output yielding statement instead of responding with a message. So that's what you do. You loop through the chunk and then every chunk you will push it as an output to the message, and that will come as the output of the Stream GPT. Not audible. Am I not audible, guys? Are you guys able to hear me? Hello. Okay. Okay. So Nirmala Sri. Okay. I'm just saying, please reconnect if you're not able to hear me. You'll be able to reconnect. So what I'm saying is here we are creating a Stream GPT. What will a Stream GPT do? It will stream in the real-time fashion. And whenever the information comes, you will push that as an output. And that is the function. So we have changed the message GPT to Stream GPT. And we have also given a system prompt. You're a helpful assistant that can respond in Markdown. And then coming to the Gradio interface, I say Gradio.interface. Now you're calling the function Stream GPT. Input will be a text box. Output will be a markdown. Here you are seeing we are giving a gr.markdown. This is a type of output format, which is giving your response in a nice formatted way. So when I run it, it runs on 7862. Click on that. And here you see this is the question box, and right here the output would be formed. And here I can ask any other question. Can I say what is the capital of USA? I'm asking that question, and in the right side, you will see response. Quickly, you got the response. Let me ask something else. What is a LLM? The same question which I asked previously. So if you see, it is now, instead of waiting for 15 seconds, it is writing the code, writing. So all these answers it is able to provide. Now I can ask some other thing. Um, so I'll say, give me the latest status of FIFA World Cup 2026. Okay. So this is what I wanted. And if you see, as of today, October 5th, 2023, October 5th, 2023, official announcement, November, FIFA officially announced their intention to host World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and United States in 2026. It is giving some information. At the time, in 2023, they told that they will have the World Cup in these places, correct? So now it is happening in US. But what is it saying is, as of today, and what is today? October 5th, 2023. Now, what this says is, this says something about the model, Gamma 3 model, and the knowledge cutoff. What is knowledge cutoff? That means that the model was trained, this Gamma 3 model was trained in October 2023. So any information after October 2023, it will not be able to give. So I can use this model as a, maybe you can use it for summarization. It can answer some basic questions and so on. But if you need anything real time, like what is the status, what are the matches which happened today for FIFA World Cup, it will not be able to tell because this model is not trained with that information. And the last knowledge cutoff date is October 2023. Now, this talks about a very important thing, that if at all I wanted to do something real time, how do I do it? Right? Imagine I create an application which needs to get real time information. Then how do I do it? And the way you have to do it is you have different techniques like RAG and tool invocation, MCP invocation, and so on, which we will be learning in the course, which will help us to retrieve latest information and then append that information to the LLM, and it will be able to respond. So LLM as a, so if you are talking to ChatGPT, internally ChatGPT is having a lot of tools, the web search tools and so on, which are invoking the local web searches and responding with your outputs. But if you are using the LLM as a standalone, if you use one of the LLM, which is even ChatGPT 5.2, OpenAPI GPT 5.2, even that is trained few months back. Okay, it will not be able to give latest information unless until it is coupled with a tool or an MCP, which can bring you the latest web searches. Are you guys following? So what we saw here is a typical case. Let me go back. So this is a typical case of knowledge cutoff where it is only available for till October 5th, 2023. Got it? Now I can ask some more questions. For example, I say, now let me share one more thing. Share one more thing. If I go to this code, this link is also available. I'll share this link on your So I'm sharing the link and I want you guys to click on the link and then see if you are able to see that output. Click the link. So it launches the same website. It will be launched and you should also be able to see this output if you click on the link. Can I get a confirmation that you are able to see the same thing? If
Yes, yes.
so, you can ask some question to it and you will be able to get back response. Ask anything as if like you are talking to a chat GPT. You can ask some question and then you will be able to get an output response. Sometimes it might be a little slower because everybody will be bombarding the link, but you should be able to get some response. Now what I'll do is I'll go to, let me put the link here. Sometimes I don't know why it is defaulting to my Edge. My kids play with me, so play with these desktop, so they change all the settings. So defaulting it to Edge right now. So here I am getting the same link. What I'll do is I'll open Amazon.com. And what I wanted to show you is some product. You will see some product. July 4th weekend, you will be able to get some products. So there's top category kitchen appliances. So let me look at this rice cooker. These are sponsored links. Now this is Instant Pot Duo 9+1, something like that. This looks to be a bestseller. It is for $139. So what I'll do, I'll just copy the name. So I'll just copy this name and then go and ask what is the price of giving this name. So I want it to predict the price of this particular. As you see, I looked up the current price of the Instant Pot Duo Plus. So again, it is giving a caveat saying that as of Tuesday, November 2nd, 2023, it is $199 to $249. $199. Here now the price is a little lower, $139, but you're getting it at 50% off this Instant Pot. $69 you're getting this pot. But it is looking at the prices and it is able to tell. Now this thing, whatever it is doing, it is called as the prediction. And it's a typical machine learning capability, but we are using LLM to do prediction. And then it gives us a guesstimate of what will be the approximate price. Okay. Now this is about $100, $130. But let me show something else. Let me see this gaming devices. Look at the gaming devices, or maybe this desktop, right? How about this $1,000 one? So this is a latest one. I'm not sure how much it will be able to give, but it is having NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060 laptop GPU, a lot of things, right? So let me put this. It's $1,000 laptop. Let us see what will it respond. So approximate price is 1,000 to 1,039 Canadian dollars, right? It's giving that approximate response. This is a very latest laptop, so you'll not have this price, but it is giving 1,000 to 1,030, 1,300, right? 1,399. So you see the price is almost, of course, it told Canadian dollars, but US dollars, roughly around the same. So you could see that the price is around that. So our local model is doing a lot of things. It can answer questions, it can tell poems, it can tell. So let me ask, can you write a poem on moon? Okay, I'm asking you to write a poem on moon. Let us see. As you see, it is writing a poem on moon. Silver bloom. A silver bloom hung high and low across an ink black violet show. It spills the light with a patient grace upon this quiet shadow space. So it's writing poems. It can write programs, and you write a program for Fibonacci series in Python. Fibonacci, Fibonacci. When I ask it, it is writing the Fibonacci code. As you see, the recursive implementation. It's writing two options. One is the basic recursive, and the second one is an iterative implementation. It's also giving the explanation about of what both the functions are doing. First version and second version, how do you test it, and all that stuff. Got it? So what we are seeing here is a very nice interactive way. So we spend 1 hour, one quality hour, and within that we are able to do a lot of things. We are able to understand the open source model. We are able to understand why that matters. And look at the Olama library, look at the XAMA model, invoke it via command line prompt, invoke it via program, also create a UI for running that model, all those things within 1 hour. All right. So generally my sessions will be like this. We will be spending a lot of quality time on creating something. Maybe for the first session, it could be quite overwhelming that what I am learning, what is LLM, what is prompt, what are parameters, what is a context, what are these different LLMs. I don't know anything, but please bear with me. We need to learn quickly, and more meaningful learning should be there. And I will focus on more meaningful learning, right? Rather than spending time on learning something which is not relevant, we will spend more time on learning, which is very, very important. So let me talk about the structure of the course. The course will be close to 2+ months. Every day we will have daily 1 hour. Daily 1 hour, which will be typically divided like a 45 minutes to 50 minutes session, plus 10 to 15 minutes question and answer. This is how the structure of every day. So weekly 5 classes. So when will those classes will be, which will be from Monday to Friday. These are on IST time zones. Monday to Friday IST. These are IST, and if you talk about EST, which will be Sunday night to Thursday night. EST time zones. So what is the timing of the session? It will happen at 6 a.m. IST, which would be translating to 8:30 p.m. EST. All the sessions will be recorded. we will have minimum 10 plus projects, real-time projects. At the end of the course, you will be able to take certifications. Certifications will be from AWS or GCP, Azure. Now, these are external certifications. You have to pay them separately. But after the course, you will be able to comfortably attempt those certifications. The course will also have interview prep. I'll share some resume formats. To change your resume and so on. And case on case basis, I will take one-on-one sessions with the students who are interested to attend interviews. They want some help on their resume preparation and all that stuff. All those things will be covered as a part of the course. All right. So this is how the course structure will be. And it will be like a 2-month course. So if you start in July, so it will be July and August. Maybe start of September, we will be closing the course. In 2 months, typically the course will be for 2 months. All right. If you have any other further questions, please put them in the chat window or you can unmute and ask. I'll be able to answer. Sometimes the questions will be, what will be the prerequisite for the course? So if you know Python, because our course will be closely on Python. So if you are familiar with Python, that is a great. But even if you are not familiar, if you know Java or C or C++ or .NET or any other language, you should be good enough to do this course, because while we are doing the course, I'll be talking about the Python required. So some basic programming knowledge should be there so that you will be able to understand my course. If you don't know anything about programming, then what I will recommend is do some programming exercise and then come back to this. But in our course, we will be learning Python, so you will be comfortable. I've taught many students over the past, and by the time they are completed the 2 month, they will be a complete different person, because they will be learning about Python. They will be learning about different topics about generative AI, agentic AI. They will be able to create agents by the end of this course.
Hi, I have a question here. So you're talking about tokens, right? Let's say 32,000 K token. So
Tokens.
how exactly are we calculating, like how exactly the LLM is calculating the tokens, like how much we have to consume, how much is left out?
So if I take an example, a token is nothing but, in a simple term, I can say a word, but they are not literally word, but they are even smaller than words. So if I take an example like unbelievably cool, okay? Suppose
Mm-hmm.
if I write this unbelievably cool, I might be wrong in the spelling, but don't judge me with that. But imagine this is the line. Now this line will be converted into tokens. Un will become one token. Believe will become one token. Ably will become one token. Comma will also become one token.
Mm-hmm.
Cool will become one token. Now these are the tokens when I write this. So likewise, there are different what we call as sentence transformers. And then embeddings, which will convert the sentence into corresponding tokens. And these tokens are the ones which are sent to the models. Now these tokens will be sent to the LLM. And now there is a lot of fuss about token spending. People are spending a lot of token and they
Yeah.
are burning money. So when you use one of the popular models, suppose I use the Anthropic suite of models, Anthropic, say, Opus model. And if you don't, anybody, if you don't know about these models, you are the first time hearing all these things, please bear with me because as we go deeper in the course, you will know all those things. But just imagine that there is one model called as Opus, Opus 4.8, the latest one. If I send 1 million tokens in input, I will spend $3. If I get 1 million tokens as output, I'll spend roughly $5 to $15, right? Dollars 5 to 15. So roughly, if you take, I call this LLM, I call this LLM with a huge context. This context is having images, it is having some documents, it is having your code base, all that stuff. All this information, and it is consuming, say, 1 million token. All right. If you're calling 1 million tokens and calling this LLM, the Opus 4.8, and it is responding with an output of 1 million. So for this input output call, I will be roughly spending $8. Are you getting it?
Got it. Yeah. So it means like it is calculating both input and output for the token.
Correct. Input, if you now input can be simple, right? It can say what is LLM? That can be my input. Now it will be only taking a fraction of 1 million. Maybe if I
Yeah.
call this 100 times and then I'm passing one document, I'm passing some policy document, and that is 100 pages. So when I do over and over again, then that 1 million token will be consumed. If I consume 1 million token for input, I'll pay $3. Imagine it is responding 10 to 15 times, and over the 10 to 15 times output, it send me 1 million output. For that, overall, you will be spending like $8 to $10.
Got it. So when a LLM is saying 32K, it means like it is calculating both input and output.
No, no, no. There is a difference. 32K is the context window. Okay. So this box, whatever you're seeing, the size
Mm-hmm.
of this box is 32K if you're using the Gamma model. But if you use the Opus model, the size of the context window is 1 million.
Got it.
Means at a time, you can pass 1 million worth of content to the model. Whether you are sending or not is a different question. When I'm using ChatGPT, I am asking simple question. I am looking at, so I wanted to measure my weight. I wanted to look at my BMI, check whether I am healthy or not. So I'm asking some simple questions. So it can be 3, 4 lines. That will not fill the 1 million context window. But what
Yeah.
happens with these applications? Now, what about the application? Application is what our ChatGPT or Claude, say ChatGPT is an application. What is happening is you ask a question, it responds with an answer, and then you ask another question, and then you respond with another answer.
Mm-hmm.
This entire thing is passed in the context. Imagine you chat from morning till evening, then you fill the context. The next question you are asking, next question you ask, it will also have this entire information.
Yeah.
Now, what is happening is people are given these access to Claude Code and other things. And they open the Claude Code, they feed with their entire program library, they feed it with all these things, and then say give entire code base, and then say find the bug or rewrite the bug or something like that.
Yeah.
And immediately, they will fill up the context, and the bills will be skyrocketing. Why is it?
Mhm.
Because they are unknowingly filling up the context and then sending to the LLMs. Got
Got
it?
it. Yeah.
Of course, we will go deeper. Now, this is just a first class, right? So
Yeah.
it's very minimal things we are learning. But as we go deeper, you will understand all these nuances in a great detail.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions?
This is Srinivas speaking.
Yes, Srinivas.
నేను జిఎంగా చేస్తానండి కన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ లో.
Okay.
నేను కొన్ని ఈ మధ్య ఏంటంటే అది వాళ్ళు ప్రాజెక్ట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ కి బోర్డ్ మీటింగ్స్ లో అనాలిసిస్ కి కాస్ట్ రేట్ అనాలిసిస్ కి వీటిని ఏ చార్ట్ ని డిఫరెంట్ ఏ యూజ్ చేసి ఐ జనరేటెడ్ రిపోర్ట్స్ గివెన్ కొటేషన్స్
Would you
వస్తాయి కదండి
mind,
మాకు.
apologies,
యా,
sir. Would you mind
ఓకే.
asking in English? Because there will be people who do not know Telugu also.
Okay, this is I am a general manager having 30 years experience in construction industry. I worked for L&T and worked for APC projects, Tata projects, Reliance Industries.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used AI tools for market comparison and cost rate analysis. I generated reports for budgetary for management. So I am a very basic. I'm not a software guy, but I am a civil engineering guy. So this course is useful for me or not? Because I just joined. I just introduced, missed some 20-30 minutes introduction session.
Okay.
So you advise me whether I can, this course is suitable for me or not.
This course is a practical course, sir. So first thing is that it requires coding, understanding, coding knowledge, and then writing coding also, because this is focused on some of the roles which are in the software industry, primarily AI engineer role. We have AI engineer, senior data scientist, junior data scientist. We have machine learning engineer role. We have AI leader role. Likewise, the role, whatever we will get out of this, will be pertaining to the software industry, right? That's first thing. But that doesn't mean that if you learn this course, you will not be able to use it in whatever you are doing in the construction, civil engineering, and things like that. You will be able to use it, but it will be a little advanced level where you will be able to use these tools for creating applications for civil. Imagine
Okay.
you want to create like a designing system, CAD CAM, proposals, recommendation systems, and so on, which requires typical application building, right? Imagine you want to create such kind of applications, then this course will help you, right? If it is just like for doing documents and process some things, then ChatGPT like a thing will be good enough for you.
No. I developed two tools actually. We developed, with my experience, I developed ERP system.
Okay.
So for KPC projects and L&T also, we developed that ERP tools, ERP framework, and with the same experience, I used mobile applications where any engineer from in India abroad, they can access ready-made information about market, about consumer interface and service interfaces. So definitely I look into that one, and Of course, it is. I am a functional consultant rather than a
Understood.
software guy. So definitely, I think as per your instructions, it will be
Correct.
definitely function as a functional. It will make me a little. So
Yeah.
definitely, sir, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. So let me give a one step background about how this is used for somebody who is in the functional business analysts, program managers, product developers, and things like that, product managers, and so on. So what is happening right now is people need to have a strong domain expertise and strong functional expertise. Using tools, using AI, creating code has become a commodity. Very easily, people will be able to create that. All people need is they need to have a strong domain expertise and strong product expertise. Many of my students are also product professionals. They're functional professionals. They do not know a lot of coding, but what they're doing is, imagine they have to design a system and they want to use AI in the system. They need to have an understanding of what tools are available, how I can use which tool, and how will I bring ROI to the system by building some new products and so on. So that is an essential skill. So what they do is they use their functional expertise, domain expertise, and the business knowledge, and then create applications. And then they can interact with their seniors, executives, and so on how to plan the system and how to build the system. Sometimes they will give guidance, and there will be junior developers who can do the coding, and they will be able to assist the junior developers to building that applications. This is what has happened in my past batches. Okay.
It's nice to hear that one, sir. Definitely, I look into that one.
Yeah. All right, then. Any other questions, or else we can close the session here. The batch is going to start from 1st of July. There will be few more introductory sessions, and then from the first week of July, we will be starting the course. If you are interested, you can reach out to the organizers. They will be able to let you know all the logistics, all the details regarded to the price of the course and other stuff, and they will be able to assist you. All right, guys. Have a nice weekend. Thank you very much for attending the
Yeah,
demo.
thank you.
I'll hope to
Hello.
talk to you again.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there a
Okay.
question?
So, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. My question is, so after finishing this course, right? So, what kind of jobs we can compete for? What kind of roles we can compete for? I mean, senior guys. Like, actually, I have experience of more than 13 years. So, what roles we can?
Yeah, depending upon the
We can.
experience, there are different types of roles. There's AI engineer role, which typically most of them work with. And depending upon where you are, which geography you are, what type of companies are offering the JDs and all. So there is a proper exercise we will be doing, which
Okay.
because it is not the answer is not, it's like one size fit answer, right? So somebody is like 5 year experience, somebody is 15-year experience, somebody 25 years experience, right? So different roles having different requirements. And depending
Okay.
upon our background, the type of industries we have worked in, the domain expertise we
Okay.
have, so we have to tune the experience, whatever we are learning in the course, to apply for the jobs. So as an assignment, what we
Okay.
will do is, imagine you are working in, say, US and maybe in New York City zone. What we will do is we will try to
Okay.
identify what companies are there, what are the
Okay.
JDs which their companies are offering, what type of roles they are offering, and then we will target those roles. Right? This is an
Okay.
exercise we have
Okay.
to do, and it is not for one person. It is like everybody has to do the exercise, and that will cater to themselves.
Okay, so you mean to say this is the basic one, and root work is based on your domain expertise, it will be changing.
Yes, yes. So it will go into advanced also, but in that advanced, we need to see, for example, somebody coming from a DevOps background, they will become a ML ops, LLM ops engineer who will know like how to deploy applications. Somebody coming from a Java background, full stack developer background, they can directly become AI engineer. Somebody
Okay.
coming from a QA background, they can become a AI, AI QA engineer or agentic QA engineer. So those are like different
So
roles.
database level or MSB,
Yeah, for
data engineer
database,
level.
yeah, for database level, there are either you could become an AI engineer or a data scientist. These are the roles which are very closely suited for somebody who's coming from a data background, either databases or
Uh,
data engineering.
I'm part of that databases MSB. I have 13 years of experience. If it is useful for the AI, I need to learn and to
Yeah,
get
you
the
need to
job.
learn programming. Then you need to learn a little bit of programming. If you are
Python.
familiar with any other languages, then you can come.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Sitaram. I will discuss with the people other. Yeah, some more doubts. I'll connect with the organizer.
All right. Any further questions? All right, then. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully, you can join some of my other demos also. And then if you're convinced, we can start the journey. It will be a 2-month journey. And the person you are seeing now and the person who will be after 2 months will be completely different. I can promise that. All right, then. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you later. Take care, guys. Bye.